Hello everyone and welcome to the first official video of the NomadChunk account. I already uploaded one video on my account where I went over the rule set and I took a look around in my different chunks that I rolled. So if you haven't watched that one, I would advise you to watch it so you understand what's going on with this account. In this video, we'll get into some more gameplay, and at the end of the video, we'll roll our first new chunks and get our first levels in a skill. I hope you enjoy, guys. Hey again, guys. I just went and talked to Count Check to make sure that my account was secured, and he gave me a lamp. I will be hanging on to this one. It might not have been the best idea to go and get the lamp now, as I will have to keep it in my inventory if I want to use it later. While walking around my chunk, I picked up all of the different things that I could find on the ground. That's why the inventory looks like this, and I'll go to the general store now and see if anything's worth anything, because by selling junk that I find on the ground, I'll be able to get some money without getting any XP. Knives are worth 2 coins, leather boots worth 2 coins, bronze daggers worth 4 coins. So I might actually want to sell 100 bronze daggers to the general store to get the money for the steel axe before moving on. I think that might very well be a viable strategy, as that will allow me to get a steel axe without having to gain any XP, which is very valuable on this account. The more items that I can get without gaining XP, the better. So I just finished Hoving World and picking up 28 bronze daggers, 27 in my inventory and 1 equipped, which I'll go and sell to the shop now and see how much money we gain. As I figured that would be my best moneymaker for now, as it will give literally 0 XP. So I can save up that money calmly without having to worry about wasting chunks. Let's see if I at least can sell more than 1 per world. I cannot. So let's get to hobbing and sell 1 bronze dagger per world. Okay, so I just finished up selling all the bronze daggers and I ended up with 106 GP, which is half the steel axe. That cost 200, so that's great. 1 more inventory and that's out of the way. I bought some shears and a tinderbox. I might just buy a hammer to have it and a chisel, definitely. If I need some of those items at some point and I don't have access to them, it's gonna be very nice to have some stocked up in the bank. Now I'm gonna go shear some sheep. While I'm here, sheep. Bring the balls of wool up to the bank so I have them in case that I might want to actually train crafting that way in this chunk, or in the future if I come by a spinning wheel and the bank at the same time but no sheep, I will have that option ready. So while I'm here, I'm gonna go shear some sheep. And while picking up bronze daggers, I just got my second random event here, the Captain Arnov. That's surely not his name. So let's see what I'll get from this one. Not as good as the maze random that I got first, but let's see, might be something good. A gold bar. Not sure if that's useful yet, but we'll see. So I imagine some of you guys might have been yelling at me already, because I just found this iron dagger here that I missed the first time running around the chunks because I crossed the bridge over there. I just tested it and it sells for 14 gold. And I just found this out after picking up and selling 3 entire inventories of bronze daggers, but that will speed up getting money a lot. I decided getting more than what's necessary for the steel axe, as I will maybe buy a mithril battle axe to use as a weapon down the line. I'll take a look at that later, but while chilling a bit today, I've just decided to pick up some iron daggers and bronze daggers and see how much money I end up with. So after selling a ton of iron daggers, I finally have 1.2k gold, and I've been walking around collecting some items. For example, the small fishing nets here that might come in handy at some point if I want to do some salamander catching if I roll a chunk. So now that I have the opportunity to get them, I want to be sure that I have them. If for some reason I get to a point where I can catch them with my hunter level and I'm in a chunk where they are. And I found this candle seller which sells a candle for 1,000 gold, which I might want to buy as well and spend all my gold there. I don't know. I'm not sure if there are any caves nearby where I'll need a candle, but I don't think I'll be able to get a light source anywhere else nearby. So yeah, I'll buy the candle for 1,000 gold. Okay, so we're about to get our first experience off of Tutorial Island, because these giant rats level 3 will be dropping red meat, raw red meat, which I will need for the druidical ritual quest to unlock herb law. As you can probably tell by now, I'm very bad with the different RuneScape names, so you'll have to forgive me for that. So hopefully this rat won't regenerate too much health, and we'll be able to kill it before getting any levels, as that will mean that we won't have to lose any chunks. It won't be a problem because I can switch between the different attack styles if I were to get close to getting a level. But yeah, I picked up the Iron Man armor for some extra defense. I figured food wouldn't be necessary. And there we go. Let's see. It should drop the raw red meat and bones, which we will hang on to. I might just bury them at some point to get the prey experience, as not getting a level is fine, so I can get some XP in the different skills if I want to prepare a little bit before leaving the chunk. I will also be needing the raw beef, which I will be getting from these cow cows, which are the same level as the normal cows, but they have 2 less HP according to the wiki, so that will be a little bit better for getting fewer XP. So afterwards I'm gonna go and kill a chicken as well, and we will have 3 of the 4 meats needed. We only need the raw bear meat, which shouldn't be a problem because there are some bears around, and hopefully we'll be able to roll that chunk so we have all the requirements ready before we need to start moving in that direction, hopefully, because the faster I can unlock herb law, the faster I have another skill that I can train. So here we are in the chicken pen as well, and let's kill a chicken too. And we aren't close to getting levels, so that's perfect. And there we go, excellent. That's 3 of the 4 requirements for unlocking herb law, and let's get on with it. Now I'm almost ready to decide in which skill or in which skills I want to gain levels, so that I can start rolling new chunks and progressing the account more directly. And before deciding this, there's a lot of things that I will have to consider, which might decide which skill would be best to choose. There's never a correct answer, as I won't know exactly where I'll be going. So I'll have to try and consider the different options and what they might result in, but in the end I'll have to see what happens in the next chunks and adapt. So the first thing that I need to consider is where I want to go, because if I go north and remove my last chunk as the most northern chunk, it's more likely that I will be moving in a northern direction, as I can't unlock the 5 chunks that I had unlocked previously. So if I move north, I will only be unlocking the chunk to the west, north, and east of the northern chunk, and won't be able to go back south. So that's something to think about. In which direction would I like to move? I can't be certain to move in that direction, as I might go one east and go all the way back south, as it's random, but it's something to think about to maximize my chances of getting where I want to be. And what possible chunks can I get depending on where I choose to go? Will I need any levels in those chunks? There might, for example, be a skilling method that requires a level 5 in a skill, which I would really love to do, or a quest that I would really love to start, which has a requirement which I can reach. Then I might consider training that skill in case I get to that chunk. I need to consider which skills I can train in my current chunk. It's, for example, impossible to train Slayer, where I am right now in Lumbridge, so no reason to consider Slayer. And which of these skills might be hard to train in the future, because some skills are very easy to train and I can train almost all chunks, while other skills are very difficult to train. So if I have an opportunity to train one of the difficult skills, it would make sense to take advantage of that opportunity, as I don't know when it will come back. And as a way to try and visualize these different levels of difficulty in which skills to train, I made this tier list, which goes from very easy to train to very difficult to train. And at the top, we have all the melee combat skills and HP, which are very easy to train and can be trained almost everywhere, as I just need an NPC that I can attack and I can gain combat XP. And at some point it might start taking a while to get levels, but I don't need any resources. I can train them without any issues. Also, woodcutting, fletching, and firemaking are gonna be very easy as there are trees almost everywhere. And with an axe and a tree, I can train all 3 skills. So I've put all those skills in the very easy category, and I will surely not be choosing any of those for the first chunk. Then we move on to the easy skills to train, which will require a little more than the very easy skills, but they still won't be that difficult to train. We have, for example, mining or fishing, which will require some rocks or a fishing spot, which is a little bit rarer than the trees, but still not that hard to come by. We have cooking, which requires some kind of resource to cook and a way to light a fire or a stove, but still not that difficult. We have mage and range, which requires some type of ammunition and a way to get that ammunition, and something to kill, but once again, not that difficult. A little bit harder than melee, as you will require the ammunition, but it can be trained anywhere that there's an NPC. And finally, we have thieving, which require, like mining and fishing, some way to train the skill, some kind of resource as a man to pickpocket from, but once again, not that difficult to train. Then we have the average skills, where I also start considering a little bit how difficult it might be to train the skill later on time-wise. For example, prayer will probably be fairly easy to find a way to train, as I will just need some kind of NPC that drops some bones or big bones, but once I start needing millions of XP, burying normal bones will be very tedious and will take a long time. Farming is the same thing. I can always stay and rake a patch, but if I want to do it faster, I'll need some seeds, and anyways, I will have to stay and wait for the seeds to grow. That's why they're in the average category. Not difficult per se, but it might take a while to train the skills. Also, something to think about with prayer is, unless I find a bone spawn on the ground, I will be getting XP in some kind of combat skill way faster, which might make it difficult to train prayer, as I might have to move on from the chunk before I get more than a single level, as I will have gained 5 combat skills. So might be easier to train much later in the account when my combat skills are higher and will require more XP as well. We have Herblore, which obviously I need to unlock, and then I will need some way to find some herbs, and once again, before getting the herb drops, I might get a lot of combat XP and be forced to move on from the chunk, while it also will require some kind of secondaries, which I'll need to find some way to obtain. And then we have smithing and crafting, which will require some kind of primary resource from either mining or crafting. Could be a ton of different things like gems, ball of wool, a charter ship where I can start making some light bulbs and stuff like that by blowing glass. So once again, it requires some kind of resource, which might be a little bit harder to come by, and it will also require a bank probably, because if I don't have a bank, I can't even take out the resources if I have them banked from training mining earlier, for example. So a little bit harder than the easy category, and therefore they are in the average category, but still not difficult to train. But I might need to take advantage if I get an opportunity to train, for example, crafting, which is why I am considering training crafting in the first chunk by doing some ball of wool, as that would allow me to get at least 5 or maybe 6 crafting if I use all the levels in crafting, and getting a little bit of a higher level, because once I get like 20 or 30, I will have more ways to train the skill as well. Then for the difficult skills, first off we have agility, which require a agility course that I have the level to use, unless I want to be training with a shortcut, as many other one chunk accounts have done, but that might take a very long time. So hopefully I can train it by using a agility training method. We will see how difficult that will actually be, but I think it might be pretty difficult, especially to begin, unless I get lucky and get to the trainer course. But still I will need to get there twice to reach level 10, so it might be very difficult early on to train. Later on I might find some kind of city with a rooftop course where I can get 5 levels, but I'm thinking it will be difficult to train. Then we have Hunter, and especially at level 1, it will be very difficult to train, as there aren't that many options for level 100 training, and the options are typically very far apart and very far away from the spawn. So an option is to try and get to Puro Puro with lamps or something like that and train on implings, as it will be very easy to access Puro Puro, but getting to the level might be very difficult, as I probably won't be playing the same amount of hours as many other chunk accounts, so getting that many lamps might prove to be very difficult as well. But we'll see. The last one is construction. I'll need a house, I'll need a way to get to my house, and I will need planks or some other material that I can use to train construction. And that might be the hardest thing to obtain, as getting planks, I pretty much need the sawmill, and I will need to find a way to get enough money to get enough planks. It's in the difficult category, as it is very much possible, but it will be difficult. And finally, we have the two most difficult skills in the very difficult category, which is Slayer and Runecrafting. Slayer, as I have spoken about before, is going to be very difficult because I will need to get to a Slayer Master, get lucky with a task that isn't too far away, get to the area, the chunk which has the monster, and kill the monster while not gaining too many XP in combat skills, for example. Because if I finally get to a Slayer task and I'm about to get a HP and a strength level, that will already be 2 of my 5 possible chunk rolls gone, and I will only be able to get 3 Slayer levels. So that will be very difficult to train. Then we have Runecrafting, which require an altar to train unless I get to Guardians of the Rift, which would be a big help, and a way to get some rune or pure essence, while also having a bank or a way to mine them, as otherwise I'll only be able to do one inventory if I manage to fill it up with rune essence before rolling the chunk, and that way I won't get many levels. So that's going to be very difficult as well. Also, as I might have a bank and the rune crafting altar in the same 5 chunks, but they might be far away, so I might only be able to get 1 level before I'm forced to leave the chunks again. And after getting the first level, I might be able to keep accessing the altar, but if I lost my bank, it won't help me much as I won't have a way to get the rune of pure essence. So that will also be a very difficult skill. The difficulty of these skills I will definitely think about every time that I decide in which skill to get XP within my chunks, as the harder the skill, the more I can gain by training it, as it might take a while before I get another opportunity. Here I am in Bob's Brilliant Axes with my entire cash stack, and I'm going to be buying a steel axe, a iron axe, so I have an axe that I can use, a bronze axe as it's very cheap, and I might need it for something down the line, I'm not sure. I'm gonna buy a steel battle axe, and I'm gonna wait on the mithril battle axe, as the iron dagger is better than the iron battle axe, and 20 attack is very far away, a lot of chunks away, so I will probably find something better before then, and I don't want to spend that much gold. As you can see here, it costs almost 1,700, so at least for now I'm not gonna buy that. And I have the free access, which might be very nice to have if I need to train a lot of woodcutting at some point, as woodcutting and fletching and fire making will be some of the fastest and easiest skills to train. I want to make 1 bronze bar. According to the wiki, each copper and tin ore will give 17.5 XP, which means that the 2 ores will be 36 or 35 XP, which means that I should be able to mine 1 copper, 1 tin without gaining a level, and smelt the bar as well. And by doing that, is 17, that's perfect. And by doing that I won't get a level, but I will have a bronze bar in the bank. If for some reason I will need that for a quest or something like that, that might be very nice to have. And here is the bronze bar. We'll bank that for now as I have no use for it, but it might be nice to have down the line. We just got the fishing Bob random, and that one I won't be able to do, because I'm pretty sure that the first random event will give me like 7 fishing, which will be too much, as I'll be gaining 7 levels and I'm actually only allowed to get 5 levels before I have to roll new chunks. So that would have been a very good way to train fishing early, but for my account I won't be able to do that random event. So at least I noticed that beforehand, because if not, I would have been forced to start rolling new chunks and get kicked out of these chunks without being prepared for it. So that's a random event that I won't be doing for now. And one of the last things that I need to do before finishing my chunks and start rolling new chunks are the quest progressions that I have available in this chunk. And here I'll put on the screen the ones that I'll be doing. Rune Mysteries, and the next step outside of my chunks are the Wizard's Tower, the Restless Ghosts, and the next step is also the Wizard's Tower, and X marks the spot where the next step will be in Draenor. And here, while doing the Restless Ghosts, I actually got the Ghost Beak Amulet, which is our first amulet. I don't think it has any stats attached to it, but it's a nice fashionscape item to have, and have something in the amulet slot at least. So now I'm finally ready to start getting some levels, and I've made a plan for what to do. I've decided to get the levels in fishing, but before talking about my plan and showing you what I'm planning on doing, I would love to show my bank. And this is what the bank looks like before we are about to leave the first chunk. I have mainly just been walking around buying and collecting all the items that I could find on the ground, which can be seen here. I managed to get 3 of the 4 items for unlocking Herb Law. In finally, I made 32 balls of wool, which is just below the next crafting level, so that I'll be able to lamp crafting and get a level if I want to at some point. Um, I made the bronze bar, as I showed in the previous clip, the candle. I will not be spending any more time collecting money. I'll end up on this 1490. I could stay here for a longer time, picking up iron daggers and selling them and getting a bigger cash stack. Um, but I think part of the fun of the account is that when I get to a new chunk, if I want to buy something, I'll need to find a way to make the money to buy it. So I will be leaving with a little bit of cash if there is something I want to buy. But generally, I won't be spending that much time trying to make money to prepare for the future, at least not yet. I might get a very good money making method and I will be doing it, but for now that we're just starting out, I think it will be very fun to see where we go, and if we have a way to make money, take advantage of it, but not collecting that many things. Okay, so we're back in the junk picker and I'll be explaining my plan to train fishing and grab my 5 levels in fishing to reach level 6 fishing. Um, I will do that because there's not that many options for early game fish in training, and by level 5 I will be able to use fishing bait, which will give me a lot more options to train fishing down the line. Another reason is that the placement of the chunk down here is really nice, as that means that for each fishing level I get, I can start removing the chunk from the north, because I would like to end up on this chunk over here, which I will do by using my lamp that I have in my inventory to get the last fishing level, and therefore finishing on this chunk, because when I start rolling again, I will be unable to roll the 5 chunks that I previously, or I have unlocked now, which means I will be on this one, because there aren't any other options. The other chunks are waterlocked, and that gives me a very good chance to go to Draenor Village. I was also considering finishing in Lumbridge, but that would give me a 50-50 between this chunk and rolling the desert, which I really much would like to avoid, going into the desert. And finishing on the north, I might risk going east, which doesn't give me a lot of content right now. And another thing is that I would really like to unlock Herblore, as I've already mentioned. So by going west now, I will be unable to roll all of these chunks, which means that I will pretty much be forced west, and with a little bit of luck, I will get the Draenor Agility shortcut as well, or rooftop course, I mean, and I'll be able to train some agility, which would be very nice. And in Wizard Tower we have some quests, progressions. I'm not sure if we actually are that interested in finishing either of those quests, but we are closer to finishing X mark the spot as well. So that's going to be the plan. So I'll get down to the fishing spot, and every time I get a level, we'll remove one of the chunks from the north. And yeah, that's the plan. I might come to regret it at some point, but it's a new account, it's a new idea, and I'll see how things go. For now, I'm very excited to start getting some XP and start getting the account rolling. This has been very fun to try and maximize all the stuff that I could get inside of these chunks that I've unlocked, and trying to see how many things I could pick up without getting XP, and always thinking about not attacking anything. But I'm very excited to get the account rolling. So let's get to fishing. Okay, let the fishing get going. I kept some items in my inventory because I'll show you later, but it's quite possible for me to avoid getting a bank in the next 5 rolls. So I wanted to make sure to have some stuff at hand. For example, my axes and a knife and tinderbox, as if there's nothing else, I can always chop some logs and fletch them, or fire make them for some fast and easy levels, so I can roll again. And while we're here, I didn't complete the Mr. Lane mystery quest because it gives enough crafting XP to reach level 6, which actually wouldn't be much of a problem, um, as it's the 5 levels that I need, but then I would have to roll from this chunk, and I would much rather roll from the next one, next to Draenor. Also, this chunk is kinda in the corner of the chunks that I have unlocked, so it would be an awkward situation where in theory I couldn't roll any new chunks because the 2 chunks next to this one I already have unlocked, and I can't unlock the same chunks again. So to avoid that, I'll do fishing, and here soon we'll get our first level, and I'll go to the chunk picker and remove a chunk, and we'll keep on like that until there's no chunks left, and then we'll roll again. So that's gonna be very exciting. It's pretty quick, this first level. It's very nice to start getting some levels and get the account progressing a little bit, and hopefully getting to some more interesting content and a lot of interesting decisions to make. I will go and bank all of these fish. Oh, there we are. So let's stop fishing. Let's go to the chunk picker and remove 1 chunk. There we go. And now we have these 4 chunks left. And we'll keep going like that for each chunk. And I just came back from banking, and we're 1 fish away from level 3. So let's pick up a net. I'm banking my nets as well to have a few extra in the bank, although it probably won't matter much. But let's go and grab level 3 fishing any second now. So the last clip went a little bit badly with the chunk picker being on the screen instead of the game. But let's see if we can manage to show the game this time for the level, and afterwards showing the chunk picker for removing the last chunk, or not the last chunk, but the next one. That's level 3 fishing. So we go to the chunk picker, we remove this chunk, these 2 won't be rollable, and now we are left with these 3 chunks. So now I need to go bank again before getting the next level, as afterwards the bank will not be unlocked anymore, and I will only have these 2 chunks because I want to end up on the left chunk over here. And we're back after banking once again, 1 fish away from level 4, which means that's already level 4. That was very quick this time. That we have now lost our bank, and we only have these 2 chunks left, so I'll be grabbing 1 more level fishing here, and we'll go to the next chunk. Okay, so after finishing the other clip, I'm still level 4 fishing and haven't fished much more. I just realized something, that if I get level 5 fishing now, I will be removing this chunk which I'm standing in, which seems not to be the best way to do it. So it seems like I'll be getting 1 fish away from level 5, then I'll be moving to the neighbor chunk, using my lamp to get level 5 fishing, and I will be using some type of combat style to, or if there is a tree maybe fletching, to get the last level. I didn't realize that before. It doesn't matter that much, as I will get level 5 fishing anyways, and that's kind of the important thing, so I can use fishing bait, but I feel like it would be better to do it that way so I don't stand in a chunk, remove it, and run into the next chunk. That doesn't seem like the best way to go about this, so that's how we'll do it. We'll get 1 lamp away, 1 fish away from level 5 fishing, and we'll move over to the other chunk. Okay, and I just realized before finishing the fishing that this guy here will give me a pickaxe. So I picked up one before recording to test it, so I'll bring that over to the other chunk as I might want to get level 2 mining instead of a combat skill. But let's get the last fishing done, and we'll move over to the other chunk and see what happens. So here we have 2 fish left to go, and we'll stop fishing just before we reach the level. One more fish, one more XP drop, and I will click off the fishing spot. I'm focusing right now on not accidentally getting the fishing level. There we go, moving off, and that's perfect. 8 XP left for the level, but this was a very good example, this whole situation of how planning is one of the important parts of this account, because I'm not able to access the bank anymore, and I just realized that I was recording the chunk picker again. But here we are, 8 XP, 8 XP away from the level, which means that we'll use the lamp. And I was hoping that there would be some tin or copper in this mine, but there's not. So we'll figure out what we'll do for the last level. Some kind of combat stat or maybe magic. We have 2 trees here if we want to chop them. But as I was saying, this was a very good example of how it's important to plan ahead in this type of game mode, because I'm not able to go back to the bank. So sometimes if I miss something or I mess something up, that's just how it is, and I'll have to adapt and make the best out of the situation anyways. So here we are in the final chunk where I'll be ending up. I will be using the lamp on fishing, where we need 8 XP to grab level 5 fishing. Perfect. And we will go to the chunk picker and remove the last chunk, which we are no longer standing in. So that's perfect. And then we will pick up the last level inside of this chunk, so we can get it rolling again. And I have decided to get the last level in strength. I thought about grabbing the level in magic since I have the runes here, but I would rather save the runes for some higher level NPCs or monsters that I won't be able to kill with melee. So we'll be killing some of these rats to get level 2 strength and complete the last chunk, and we will get to rolling. And here we are about to get the strength level. I think we need one more hit on this giant rat. If that's possible. There we are. Level 2 strength. And let's open up the chunk picker. And let's make sure, yes, we are recording the chunk picker. So here, the only rollable chunk is this one. This one is not available anymore. We won't be able to roll any other chunks because I already had this chunk the last time. This is water, this is water. So that's why I chose to end the last chunks here, as we can only go north, and that brings me closer to Drainer. So let's roll that chunk first and step in there. There we go. Afterwards, I will remove the other unrollable chunks, which will be 2 and 3. But let's step into this chunk now. Perfect. There's some unicorns here and some stuff, but we will check them out later. Now I will go into this plugin. And I already stepped into the wrong chunk, so that was a great start. I tried to get away from the unicorns, oh that's why I just unlocked 3 music tracks, so I can't ruined I guess. Let's put it up here, 1200, 594. it says. And that should unlock this chunk. Perfect. And we'll remove the old one. And try not to lose our hardcore status while doing this. And that's excellent. Perfect. Here we are, and we will roll the last chunks. Okay, so here we are where we left off with the chunk picker. And these two chunks are not rollable. As I had those two chunks in the last 5. So let's see where we'll be going now. We will be rolling 4 times until we have 5 chunks unlocked again. Let's go once. Okay, North, I would very much like Draenor, so hopefully we can go there. This one is not rollable as we had it last time. I would like to avoid free as it looks like a very empty chunk. And let's see, that's Draenor, so that's excellent. We can get 3 and we can get 4. 3 we can't cross the wall, so unless we get the one chunk as well and that chunk, so that won't be possible. So let's try and avoid 2 and 3 here. 1 would be the best one, definitely, as it would give us the agility course, which is something that I really would like, as that would mean 5 agility, at least, if I want to put in all the levels in agility. Let's see, 2 chunks left. And we got the 1, so that's perfect. No reason to complain about that. I'm very happy with how this is turning out. And now, I guess the Wizard's Tower would be the best choice, or maybe 4, as there's some farming and some crafting if I decide to go that route. But let's see. We can't get lucky every time, I imagine. No, that's the chunk up there. That's bound to not have any content, but that's actually a very, very, very good roll. And let's get back into the game and go check out these chunks. Hey guys, here I am from the future, and while recording a future episode, I met someone in-game who said he had already found my YouTube account, which I found kind of weird, as I hadn't uploaded anything to YouTube yet, and I looked up NomadChunk on YouTube, which I probably should have done beforehand to see if someone already had the idea. And I found this sim guy who's doing a lot of videos on a similar type of account. He has some different rules, so definitely go check out his account and see how it's different than mine. And now you have double the NomadChunk content. That's it for today's episode, guys. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Once again, I'm very new to this video making thing, so any advice you might have or any feedback, I would love to hear it. So feel free to leave a comment with any feedback that you have on the gameplay, on the rules, or on the editing. In the next episode, we'll dive into these new chunks, take a look around, and I'll see you again with the next episode very soon. So once again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.